Hello, you are listening to the Gamer Librarian Podcast, the best podcast you can find on this side of the multiverse. I am your host, Adrian, and today I will be talking about BallxPit, the newest Pokemon Digimon games, and relatively a few small things. So this is going to be a lightning round episode, pretty fast paced. We're in the middle of moving, which is crazy. So we just need to get right along so we can start playing video games again. Now, with the little time we have, we're going to talk just a tiny bit on a few news articles. Now, I saw that Claire Obscure Expedition is already winning game awards and things like that for the smaller award ceremonies that you see for like publications and other conventions and things like that. Don't usually keep up on that, but kudos to them on their win. But we all know which game of the year they're slated to win, that they're going to win, and that's Game of the Year 2025 from the Game Awards. The Game Awards, obviously, the biggest award show for gaming, which is awesome. But I guess there's big comparison talking about turn-based RPGs making a massive comeback, especially after the newest Final Fantasy VII Remake, Part 2, being massively long, and that being from a turn-based origin to now a 3D action game with some turn-based style, mechanics that still make it, kind of like the old classic games. But apparently, there is the co-director talking about Part 3 for Final Fantasy VII Remake and how they want to differ between the content in the game, feeling like it's obviously bloated, padding kind of stuff. Now, in my comparison, I think it quite literally is they don't have time. Quite literally, you don't have time to do the content, so don't do it. I mean, I never feel compelled to do everything in a game. Like, I don't feel compelled to do a 100% playthrough unless I already love the game. And if I do already love the game, I'm going to just do what I love about doing in it. There's a lot of things in gaming that do take a lot of time. I'm going to say it. Gears of Wars, uh, big kill achievements, whatever they're called, the big 3.0, the 2.0, whatever they're called, the amount of kills that you get in those games is massive just for that one achievement. Those games also have multiplayer specific achievements. Now we're going into the extremes here, but I don't think achievements even matter. But in-game content does for a lot of people, and obviously there are like small achievement accolades that are in some games, like Silk Song kind of has them. Now, I always feel like when you do something in a game, you should definitely feel like it's rewarding, but the process to getting it, you feel like you earned it and you got yourself there rather than the game hinting to you, telling you what to do, or even going online and finding, walkthroughs and stuff. But that's always an option. If you're stuck, if you don't know all the ways to get to the ending of the game or just through the end of that mission, because some games have multiple interactions. I just think that if you're going to be playing a video game, you need to go headstrong from pressing the start button and then playing as much as you can until you reach the credits and seeing what that game has to offer. See, video game length is something that, like, to me, is not a factor. I don't care how long a game is because it always boils down to how long I can get through it, my own interactions with the game, my own failures, and just how much time I specifically spent in that game. I could rush through it as much as I want, but I'm just going through all the parts that I enjoy. I think a lot of people feel that way for a lot of these games. Final Fantasy VII Part 3 is going to be insane. We don't know where it's going to go with its overall expansion of just the world and how you interact with it, because there's not a lot of content that hasn't already been done. People think that's going to be like from the Advent Children movie and then some other small spin-off stuff or whatever. That's awesome. And Claire Obscure is getting more DLC. I think it already got an update and stuff like that. But at least they're like complete packages. Part 3, Part 2, Part 1. That's a trilogy of Final Fantasy. Expedition 33 is a complete package. And I know I didn't probably do everything on my first playthrough, but I did play enough of it to where once I did the end credits and a little bit of stuff after, awesome, completely awesome. I just don't think that there's any reason to worry about game length or anything. Like, you got to find the time to play the game. There's so many games out there. I try to play every game from hitting the start button to just seeing the end credits. And if I like it enough, I'll try and get more. I'll try and play more, experience more. But my philosophy has always been once I hit start and until the game tells me I'm done, I don't stop. I don't usually like to look up things for video games, but I only do it when I'm stuck or the game mechanics are being, like obstructive to be playing the game. Now, enough about that because there is a developer that we haven't talked about here for a while, Quantic Dream. That is the developers of Heavy Rain and Detroit Become Human. I, for what they're worth, those games were fun. I believe they were fun. They're the moviest games of the PlayStation 3 and 4 genre. Like, I think a lot of people think that when it comes to PlayStation, you think of these games on there, they're pinnacle to the overall brand and the experience, just the stories and their interactivity, which is their big selling point. Those games were just movies. Absolutely. And we've known for quite a while that they're making a Star Wars game, Star Wars Eclipse. Development has apparently continued on this game. I thought it was fully canned, and not even that. They're working on a second game, which we all know doesn't go out very well. This is like a 3v3 multiplayer game. I don't even care what it's called, but I'm going to be so for real. I don't even know why we're bothering with having this still come out. Like, I like Star Wars. I like the interactive game experience. It's kind of cool in a interactive way, but the gameplay has always been bad, really, really bad. Just because it's just QTEs, and then just quick dialogue option choices. And there's some like mystery puzzle solving, and that's always like another aspect to the gameplay. But there's no like combat, which to some degree isn't what a lot of people want. And man, I don't know if we're going to be ever getting a good Star Wars game made by Quantum Dream if they're also making a multiplayer game. That's just insane. So shout out to Quantum Dream for at least keeping some side of non EA Star Wars gaming alive. Is it that mobile or whatever? Now, apparently during some uh this was just during the early morning shows, they had a show off of the Xbox Ally. And we haven't really covered this much, but the Xbox Ally, I'm sure, is relatively decent in terms of its hardware. Apparently, not being able to play your Xbox library or the entirety of your Xbox library is pretty trash. But it is at least a step in the right direction. Maybe there'll be some version where Microsoft just partners with Steam, because I mean, if people have Xbox, they have Steam, and like if people already on Xbox and go to PC, they're gonna have Steam. Like, we're talking now about the integration of communities now in terms of like everything with now the crossplay. I don't think Sony's ever going to do something like that. But now we're going to have these operating systems inherently work on these consoles, and Steam works fine on the Asus or whatever. That's awesome. For $1,000 though, I don't know. I'm cool with my Switch 2. That's decent enough for me because I know that most easy going games are going to be launched on the Switch now because man, there's some launch games on the Switch too that are really good. And yeah, I just think that the Switch 2 was completely worth it. But with the Steam Deck, I think that the mod scene is 100% where that's at, and the Asus, that's something that's even better, just because of the inherent library system. I mean, now you have it just built in, but I think that the mods, that's going to make that kind of console awesome. Maybe not this iteration, this type right now, but in the future. I don't know if they're going to do another partnership with someone like that. Maybe you can just buy them, right? But we all know what happens with Microsoft when they don't utilize what they buy because they bought a lot of stuff that's not being used. But this is a weird W for Microsoft just for the Aces. I'm pretty glad for them. It's nice to see that there's three type of devices rather than just like the Nintendo and now the Steam Deck and then this Microsoft one. That's decent. Now, apparently, uh, just because the South Park episode made a parody of it, they added the Doop to Doop song, the 6-7 meme song in GTA 6. Apparently, he's going to be doing playing his own character, doing his own music, rapper Skrilla. That's really, really cool. That's just something positive about GTA 6 because that game's going to be an insane launch. And for news, that's pretty much it. We've talked about a few things here. We try to get a decent enough news from the weekly stuff, things that I think are important, cool to talk about. And that includes video game announcements, video game releases. Now, it's very rare that we cover a game that we haven't played here on the podcast and most likely won't play because, as someone who's been a massive Pokemon fan for the longevity of my life, I can't believe the state these Pokemon games are in terms of this being the highest grossing media franchise of all time and the content in these games don't reflect the type of enormous love that has been shown for it from fans, but only how much Nintendo and Game Freak don't care about the quality of their product and how much that experience meant to not just gaming, but a massive generation of people in just entertainment. Like I the spin-off Pokemon games, I don't care if their quality is 0 or 99, but when you're heralded as the highest grossing media franchise of all time, when you've for a fact made the most money out of anything, and you came off of the handheld video game scene, to think that we're here now, to think that this is where we are. People are calling Digimon games better than Pokemon. I haven't played any Digimon game. I haven't played a single one. I'm sure some of the Digimon games, in some fashion, are better than a lot of Pokemon games, mainline or spinoff. But now we're talking about, I guess, is the spinoff Digimon game being better than a mainline Pokemon game. And from what I've seen for the mainline Pokemon game, it is Garbo. Like the Digimon story time, just the art design, just the entire design of that looks better than the 3D games that we've been getting. And this new 3D ZA game looks exactly like all the other ones we've gotten. I can't believe it. Breath of the Wild looks awesome. Breath of the Wild looks insane. Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong Bonanza also looks really insane. And yeah, I just can't believe that this newest Pokemon game on the Switch launch is this, trash. I've been playing Pokemon since Pokemon Yellow. And if younger me was here in 2025, he'd ask, Why not the new Pokemon games like the classic TV show, but with multiplayer? Like, I don't understand why that just isn't the thing. I mean, it looks worse than like XD Yellow Darkness Coliseum, in my opinion. Just overall, why is this newest release not already up to par with so many of the so much of the experience? Why isn't it just already inherently better than any game out there? Like I think it should. As the highest media franchise that came from a video game, it should be one of the best video games that we're playing. But it's not. It's actually one of the worst. Now we don't even have ports of the playable or any playable ports of the older Pokemon games on Switch. Like we just don't have them. I think that's all. There's Pokemon ROMs that are doing a better job at least delivering a semblance of the experience that fans want for Pokemon. Yeah, and Nintendo suing the Power World devs over patent stuff. I mean, I truly can't believe that's what we're seeing here with Pokemon. It's actually incredibly depressing and upsetting just to see how they treat this franchise. That overall experience, I don't think we're ever gonna get that back. Like I don't think Pokemon or gaming will ever like be the same as it was with the Game Boy to the DS era. Like I think now with these Pokemon games, they're just not, inherently loved anymore by the people that made them. I don't think they are. And that really upsets me. But there's a whole bunch of other games out there. You know, Digimon might be one game that we play in the future. This Digimon Storytime game doesn't seem too bad. I kind of like the overall art style of it and it being like a turn-based RPG. That's awesome. Now I've been playing a game called BallxPit, which is something that I didn't think I'd love this much. I mean, for a roguelike game, it is incredibly addictive. Incredibly addictive. You unlock different characters that all do different stuff based on the, balls. The balls have different like moves, and you can customize your roguelite route, your attempt, your delve into the pit. You can even build a little town. The town shocked me. I didn't think we would ever do that, which is super cool. You place upgrades. That's how you get your characters for the most part. And then there's levels. I have about two more to go. We are doing the one after the mushroom right now. And I have about like three characters to unlock, which is awesome. Super loving this game. And I did not think I would. I would love to see a sequel. I want to see like more fusions. So you can get upgrades to your balls that do all kinds of effects and you can fuse them together and then they do like become different things. I want to see more of that. I want to be able to start doing more of that because it seems like you can only get like two evolutions. So that's like two ball fusions into a new ball. I want to see more of that because that kind of was like the best part. But then I saw some insane, uh, seizure inducing nonsense through online with like I guess someone's build, so I want to see if I could do that. But it's insane. I enjoy this game so much, and don't know what we'll be playing for the rest of the month. October is still upon us. We're still in the Halloween era. Maybe we'll get to Silent Hill F. Most likely that one. Then we have to do Metal Gear Solid 3, 4, and 5. I mean, some point that's going to be done before Game Awards. Absolutely. And like I said, this is going to be a quick episode. So the last thing we're going to talk about is Where Hope Grows. I mean, what a phenomenal movie. Little movie about a special needs person working in the produce department, being a good guy. Loved it. That was a phenomenal movie. All I got to say on that. And other than that, I just got to, continue packing. And we're going to have a new setup for the podcast. It's going to be insane. We're almost at 20 minutes. That's cool. And yeah, that's my Pokemon rant. That's me talking about BallxPit. And I will see you guys next time. Peace.